I'd like to thank you all for coming, and please silence your cell phones. I'd like to do this, so I'm going to do it again. Calling this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we would like a moment of silence for our recently departed residents. Erin, the roll call, please.
Bella Gariglia.
Here.
Mike Messina.
Here.
Mary Adler. Here. Ed Whitman.
Here.
Barbara Wills. Here. Ray Barnes.
Here.
And we have the approval of the open board meeting minutes of April the 20th. Approved.
Approve the minutes.
Second.
I second.
Okay. First and possibly foremost, please join the board in congratulating Fran, who will be celebrating 25 years of service with Lake Ridge. Fran has always served the community in the most professional manner, always trying to help the residents in any way that she can. Fran could not be here tonight, but we will make sure she watches the video. So let's again give her a big, big round of applause. We are moving along on the fence. The site plan and all the necessary paperwork has been delivered to Town Hall and is being processed as we speak. You will be notified of the planning board meeting where our engineer on the project, FWH Associates, and our lawyer, Joe Coronado Jr., will represent Lake Ridge at that time. We do not anticipate any problems gaining approval for this project. Michael, the Vice President's report.
Okay, I'm going to report out on the usual things that I do. One is the pool. It's almost pool season, although it feels cold out recently, right? This year will be a trial by fire situation for the coming pool season, as we are trying a new program with extended hours, along with trying some new ideas. So we have learned a few things from the new schedule from the indoor pool, and we're going to carry those forward. The board is making every effort to hear residents' concerns in regard to the outdoor pool left over from last year's concern sheets and from the concern sheets that we've already received for this year. The outdoor pool will be officially open on Saturday, May 27th at 10 a.m. I plan on being the first idiot in the pool, regardless of the temperature. Okay.
As always, Michael.
As always, yeah. Also starting on May 27th, there will no longer be lifeguards on the indoor pool. That being said, on May 27th, the indoor pool will only be available for residents from 9 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. So the indoor pool will stay open during the summer for a few hours for those that need to use that cannot tolerate the sun. Okay, no guests in the indoor pool at all. There are no lifeguards. The exception for this is if we close the outdoor pool for inclement weather and the lifeguards move from the outdoor pool to the indoor pool, then of course guests can be there. So everything hinges on the lifeguard. If there's a lifeguard, you can have guests. No lifeguard, no guests. There will be 2 lifeguards on duty. Now this is slightly different from what has been published so far, because I met with the company along with Ray 2 days ago, and I left out something, which was We want them to clean the pool every day, regardless. So the first 30 minutes, they will be cleaning the pool. So lifeguards may be here at 11:30 cleaning the pool, but lifeguard duty starts at 12 noon. So you will have lifeguards from 12 noon to 4:30, not 5 o'clock. So it's slightly different. Like I said, we're trying different things, and this schedule may move a half an hour one way or the other. But the bottom line is lifeguards start at 12 noon, whether it's the indoor pool or the outdoor pool. And we try to keep that constant so everybody knows. Okay. Okay, so family swim time, that means with children, will be from 12 noon to 4 p.m. daily. 12 noon to 4, family swim time. Ends at 4. Adult guests will be able to stay till 4:30, and when the lifeguards leave, those guests will leave. Lastly, residents can swim from 4:30 to 8 p.m. No lifeguard, but they can swim, but the buddy system will be in play. That means you will not be on that deck alone. For safety reasons, it's kind of obvious. So the one new thing is we will have swipe card access on the gates, both gates. They're being installed in the next week. So you don't have to sign in as a resident, you swipe in. So if 3 residents come in a row and the gate's open, please swipe so we can see the utilization. All right? Only guests will sign in. That will make it easier for the residents. Just swipe, you're in, have a nice time. Okay.
You don't get stuck in there and get lost. We have people that didn't get out of there.
Well, another point here is we have a new movable chair lift has arrived. So we have 2 that are stationary that were really not filling the bill. So both of those will be scrapped, and we have a new one, and I tested it this past Sunday with Ed Piscavage, and it lifted me out of the water with ease. It's actually battery pack, it's not dependent on water pressure, it's going to be much more reliable. This is a disability requirement that we have. Okay. The replacement awning has been installed. There are some new lounges, tables, and chairs and umbrellas that will be arriving next week. And that's the end of the report for the pool. Very quickly, the gym committee is still active. Decisions have been made about new equipment, and there will be further recommendations coming down from the committee that the board will address. The committee is still doing very well. And that's all I'm going to report on today. Bella.
Thank you. Mary, the treasurer's report.
Okay. This is the operating fund for the 4 months ending April 30th, 2023. Our net income of $183,724 was $102,731, better than the budget of $80,000. I know, a lot of numbers, $993. Okay, why are we favorable? Our income was favorable by $44,000. The surplus that we carried over from 2022 of round figures $37,000 was better than the budget. And the closing contributions on our home resales was $7,000 better than budget. We had budgeted for a resale of 12 homes, and actually we had 17 resold in 2023. Our expenses were $58,461 better than the $744 budget versus $685,000 actual. Okay, why are we favorable? My same speech every year. No snow, good news, good money. Balance sheet. On April 30th, 2023, our cash and investment fund totaled approximately $3.4 million, most of which is in the replacement fund, which has a balance of approximately $2.4 million. The funds held in the replacement funds are invested in CDs insured by the FDIC, in money market funds, and some funds are held in cash for emergencies. Thank you.
Thank you. Ed, the secretary's report.
Yes, as the secretary's report, as you know, I'm liaison to the grounds, and most of my report will have to do with the grounds committee. With regard to trees, we have dealt with 25 dangerous trees on the common that have been addressed and removed. So we're moving ahead at pace with dealing with the trees from the common that pose some sort of a danger to our community. That being said, one of the most frequent complaints or concerns that I get as a liaison to the grounds concerns trees overhanging from the common, branches and also roots, invading the property of homeowners from the commons. Now the grounds committee and the HOA is responsible for the common and trees that are dangerous or unsightly on the common. But trees that have branches overhanging the property line of a resident, or roots, the same thing, coming over the property line, we can't afford to address those problems. We have 926 homes, many of which do abut the common, and we simply can't afford to be dealing with pruning trees that are over the line. If they come over the line, roots or branches, the homeowner is perfectly within their rights and at their own expense to prune those trees and or roots. So I just want to make that clear that there's really nothing the homeowners association is responsible for doing with regard to the property, the line that you own. So that's, it's hard news because I think a lot of people would prefer if the community would absorb the cost of pruning and cutting, but we simply can't do that. We will deal with the roots, with the common, with trees that are dangerous in the common, but we can't be dealing with 926 homes with their trees. So I hope you understand that. Third point, also a connection with the grounds. Part of the grounds responsibility is the vegetable garden, and I'm happy to report that we are now looking at, as part of the general overview and revival of working on the irrigation system throughout, the wells and the irrigation system throughout Lake Ridge. And as part of that, we're working on getting the spigot for the garden, the vegetable garden, reestablished. Long ago, there was a spigot, so gardeners could fill a bucket and water their plants on demand. And as part of our review of the irrigation system, we're going to revitalize that spigot so that gardeners can have water at their demand. So that's the grounds report or the secretary's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Barbara, the Director at Large report.
I recently had a meeting with Phil Weiner, chairperson for ARC, and was informed on a number of violations that were always ARC standards. There have been letters sent informing the residents to correct the violation within 10 days. The ARC committee was one of the first committees to be formed by the homeowners. It has become a beautiful place to live. Without ARC, we wouldn't have the aesthetics, property value, and a community that is desirable for buyers. In order to avoid violations, please refer to the architectural standards booklet that everyone receives when they move in. Get the permits required from ARC before doing anything to the exterior and surrounding property of your home, not including the common grounds. If you're not sure if you can do what you would like to do or have any questions, you can find Phil Weiner's number in the view under committees. And you can also stop by the office at the clubhouse for information. And I also see he's at the meeting today, so if you have any questions. A follow-up to open houses. Open houses are allowed on Sundays from 1 to 4. All realtors must contact the office 7 days before the scheduled open house, or they will not be able to have the open house that day. If a buyer comes to the gate, he will be logged on the open house sheet. We are in the process of contacting other HOAs in the area to see their open house policy for the gatehouse. And actually, I did speak to Marion Security about implementing open house issues, so we're in the works with that. And lastly, blocking the sidewalks with parked cars in the driveways. Please do not park your cars on the sidewalks. It's not fair to the people who have wheelchairs, walkers, canes, etc. Please be considerate to others. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Ray, the manager's report.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a month now since I've been transitioning into this position and hit the ground running. A lot of projects going on, and it's good to work with a board that's as interested in this community as this board is. Just a couple updates. If you come in through the front gate, you'll know that the monument project is complete. The new signage, the remediation on the walls there looks all nice, bright, and clean. They did a nice job on that. We're looking at, I've been getting acquainted with a lot of your contractors and vendors for the community. We've been having meetings with project engineers, your pool and landscaping companies. Basically, so I can get familiar with them, with their contracts, and what they're supposed to be providing to the residents here. One of the priorities, and it'll be our meeting tomorrow, is with the irrigation company. I do understand that there were some problems last year, some repairs that needed to be made, some long-standing problems, and we hope to get a lot of those concerns addressed tomorrow. One thing we don't want to see is a lot of brown spots around the community, and we want to make sure that everything is working as it should be. The cladding project, we have been meeting. There are two very good contractors who submitted competitive bids out of the 5 that were presented to the board. Right now, we actually sent them back to the office to sharpen their pencils a little bit better. We're waiting for those results to come back from the engineer, but we're looking to get that within the next week. Once we do that, the board will pick their contractor for the project. There's some options we're looking at, and everything really does depend on the cost. But once the board picks the contractor to do the job, we'll look at probably a 30-day lull while they get the permits, get their supplies, get everything ready, which will give the board and myself time to work with the finance committee to make sure that we have everything buttoned up before this project starts. We do have the handicap access pads installed on the annex building. It was just done last week, and this was a long-standing requirement, but also something required by the township, especially in time for primary voting, which will be happening again here on June 6th. The pond was restocked on Tuesday. We have 6 8-inch bass and 8 10-inch catfish were added to the Lake Ridge family. So they'll be out there running around for everybody out there for the catch and release. Just a couple updates. The office has ordered 30 more gate remotes. They're supposed to arrive within 3 weeks. There's a sign-up list with Fran and Melissa in the office if you'd like to purchase them. Again, this is to supplement while we're looking at other options. From our activity desk, I want to report that there are still tables open for the one-night parish dance on June 16th. Sign-up is at the activities desk. The New Jersey Motor Vehicle Mobile Unit will be here on July 19th. You must sign up online to make an appointment. A web blast went out to the community on May 11th with the link for signing up, and there is a flyer on the activities bulletin board. I will ask that you please continue to use your concern sheets. I've been reading through some of the past concern sheets, and that's a valuable piece of information there, especially for me. It helps me get the background on your concerns, and it gives the management office a dependable tracking system for any kind of remediation on those forms. And just a short note, I met with several of the committees over the past 3 to 4 weeks. Your finance, policy and docs, our committee election, your RFID committee, and I would just like to compliment all the members of these committees for their dedication and their commitment to the community. You really have some special people on these committees. They do a great job, and they make my job and the job of the board a lot easier. I've also met with some of the clubs and some of the residents around here, and I look forward to meeting a lot more of you in the near future. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ray. Before I turn this meeting over to the election committee, I would like to say a few words in pardon. It is very easy when you serve on the board and are criticized for spending too much money, being a runaway board, asked why now, we don't need it, etc., etc. It is easy for the board to say, you know what, let's let it go for the next board to deal with. But this board never did that. And I am very sure that the new board being sworn in tonight will not do that either. They will do what they feel is best for Lake Ridge, without regard to repercussions, criticism, or consequences. At the last open board meeting in my report, I asked you not to let the few divide this community, not to listen to rumors, but to go to the board to find out the truth. We have tried to advise you of all that we could by conducting town hall meetings, using robocalls and web blasts, and special committees. We have opened up communication that I believe is unprecedented. I am repeating much of what I said at the last meeting because it is that important. We must come together. We must not allow any one person or any few to divide us and bring our community down, but rather we must unite and work together to continue to make Lake Ridge the great community that it is meant to be. Only you, the residents, can accomplish that by questioning the rumors and the divisive rhetoric. People say that being on the board is a thankless job, but I did not find that to be true. Rather, for me, I have made many, many new friends that have supported me and have openly expressed their appreciation for what we have accomplished. For me, that is enough. God bless you all. God bless the new board. And God bless our home, Lake Ridge. The business portion of this meeting is over. And I think Ed looks like he has something to say. So before we end this, Ed.
This is a letter on behalf of the board, and I'd like to read it now. This is an appropriate occasion. Dear Bella, tonight is your final board meeting as president, and we would be remiss if we did not mark this occasion with the appropriate formality. You have presided with generosity of spirit, energy, diligence, and a careful attention to the many details of your office. And Lake Ridge is all the better for the agenda that you set before us. As individual members of the board, we did not always agree, which is hardly surprising. But in the end, we continued to cooperate in the best interest of our community and in fulfillment of our responsibilities. So as your term comes to its end, we thank you for everything you have accomplished. As a board and on behalf of the Lake Ridge community as a whole, we take this last opportunity to say, well done. Enjoy your newfound leisure. You have earned it. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Now, where was I? Okay, so the business portion of this meeting is over, and we will now transition into the annual election meeting. Teresa Valencia, the co-chair of the election committee, will now reside. Come on up, Teresa.
Thank you, Bella. Good evening, everyone. Well, first of all, I want to thank the election committee for all their input and their help, especially Nancy Maines, my co-chair. She's given me a lot of reasons to think about, and definitely Erin. This would not have happened without her. Thank you. I also would like to thank Bill Edwards and Renee Stetson for volunteering to help count the votes this afternoon, because for some reason, the nominating or the election committee is on vacation. What the heck is that about? So, but thank you all. Now, the election committee worked with management to collect and open the call for candidate forms. Those who were elected by someone else were called to seek their interest. The remaining names were those of interested candidates who met with the committee to review the candidate's night process and submit a biography for the views and voting materials. There were 3 candidates for 3 positions. The committee opened all the ballots to verify and the write-in ballots. Bear with me. Okay. There was we had received 40% of the eligible residents voted, which means we could do a little bit better than that. And we had twice as many electronic votes as write-ins, which is good because these paper write-ins are costly to the community. So the more electronic votes we get, the better. There are 926 total units. Less members not in good standing were 23. Total members good standing are 903. The quorum requirement was 25%, and we received 230 votes to reach the quorum. Valid absentee ballots, proxies received were 152, 5 were invalid. Ballots required at meeting for a quorum, we received 230. Ballots cast at election were 428, and the quorum was received. Next. There were 15 write-ins. All the write-ins received less than 5 votes. They were Ed Buscavage, Mike Messina, Bill Cohen, Robert Bruno, Rita Morani, Jerry Eskowitz, Frank Mara, Rick Caruana, Phil Wiener, Vince Valencia, Tom Bonds, Anthony Bernice, Mike Turner, Mike Kilhaney, and Joyce Quinlan. The 3 candidates newly elected to the board are Carol Butterworth, Barbara Wills, and Ed Whitman. Welcome to the board.
Yes.
Carol, please come up. And we'll have
So
stand.
2 of them, they can
Okay.
stand together. You're out of here. You're out of here. You get a chair now, Carol.
Got the hot seat.
going to read the code of conduct for the board members first. The Lake Ridge Homeowners Association Board of Directors has approved the following code of conduct for its members in order to ensure that they maintain a high standard of ethical conduct in the performance of the Lake Ridge Homeowners Association business, and to ensure that the residents maintain confidence in and respect for the entire board. The following principles and guidelines constitute the code of conduct. 1, the board of directors shall maintain a professional demeanor using appropriate discretion at all times and making decisions that are consistent with high principles and to protect and enhance the safety and property values of the residents. 2, no board member shall solicit or accept directly or indirectly any gifts, gratuity, favor, entertainment, loans, or any other thing of monetary value from a person who is seeking to obtain contractual or other business or financial relations with the Lake Ridge Homeowners Association. No contributions, number 3, no contributions will be made to any political parties or political candidates by the association. Number 4, no board member shall engage in any writing, publishing, or speech-making that defames any other members of the Lake Ridge Homeowners Association Board or residents of the Lake Ridge Homeowners Association community. 5, confidentiality of other board members' personal lives, all residents' personal lives, as well as employees' personal lives, will be protected by the Board of Officers. 6, no board member will willingly misrepresent the facts to the residents of the community for the sole purpose of advancing a personal cause or influencing the community to place pressure on the board to advance a board member's personal cause. 7, no board member nor his or her agent or employee or family member shall enter into a personal service contract with the outside vendors contracted by the Lake Ridge Homeowners Association without previous disclosure of such interest to the board. 8, no board member will seek to have a contract implemented that has not been duly approved by the board. 9, no promise of anything not approved by the board as a whole can be made to any subcontractor, supplier, or contractor during negotiations. 10, no drug, alcohol, or substance abuse will be tolerated. Almost finished. 11, all board members are required to attend accredited board member training seminar during each term of office. Attendance should be verified by a certificate of completion. 12, any board member convicted of a felony will voluntarily resign from his or her position or will be dismissed by the board. 13, violations of the Code of Ethics by a board member will be resolved by the majority vote of the remaining board members. And 14, for Code of Ethics issues, the attorney, management, agent, and accountant for the association can serve as advisors if deemed necessary by the board. Now, the oath of office. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
Ed Whitman.
Having been elected to the Board of Directors of the Lake Ridge Homeowners Association, do solemnly swear to abide by the uphold the ideals and purpose of this association, to perform my duties to the best of my ability and capabilities without fear or favor, with the aim and view of furthering the missions of this organization and advance the interest of the school and community which it is dedicated. I think there's an error. And to conduct myself in a manner befitting a good and responsible officer, as to bring honor, prestige, service to the association, and that I take this pledge without mental reservation or purpose of elevation. So help me God.
So help me.
Okay. Congratulations.
The board will now break for reorganization, and then they'll return to the board.